The Windows 8 Consumer Preview just recently came out, and I decided I'd do a short video of, I guess, my first impressions of it. This is the first time I've installed it. I haven't used it yet, so this is going to be my raw impression of Microsoft's new operating system. So I'm setting it up now, and I guess I get to personalize it. So I should note I'm running this in a virtual machine, VirtualBox. You can see Windows 8 running right there. One of my first things I'm going to have to do is install guest editions and get this full screened. And I don't know why this is a slider, because these are just discrete options, so I don't really understand why that needs to be a slider. But okay, we're going to name it. We'll just say my. Okay. Wonder what happens when you. Oh, it just flashes when you try and put the illegal characters in. Well, alright. Click next. Sure. I don't think I want to do that. Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, let's. So I'm being asked to put in an email address to sign into my PC. I don't really want to do that right now, so we'll just do a local account. I'll put in my name, password, okay. So it's finalizing my settings, and should be seeing Windows 8 pretty soon. And I've read a few people's impressions on the operating system so far. Some good, some bad. It's definite that Microsoft's doing something different, and this really marks the first time that they're actually trying to get ahead of a trend. With the Zune and like Windows Phone 7 and all that, they're really just playing catch up to Google and Apple, companies like that. This is the first time that they've actually seen, something like the tablet trend, and they're almost trying to get ahead of it by creating something that's almost tablet-centric. Metro is a touch-based interface, and some people like that, some don't. I run dual 27-inch monitors with Windows 7 for my default computing. So I really like having a bunch of screen real estate. I very rarely will full screen any app. So I'm not sure how Metro is going to work for me, but we'll see. I'm going to let this prepare. Okay, as you can see, it's ready now, and this is the first page that you see. And we've got the standard Metro colored tiles. I'm scrolling around with my mouse's scroll wheel. It's pretty smooth. And I was going to skip this part, installing the guest edition, so I can full screen this, but I figured this would be a good demonstration of like just a standard thing that you're going to do in Windows, which is installing a program. So I'm going to run the guest editions. It's mounted to the CD drive, so it's going to be just like installing software from a disk. Okay, got a little notification up top. Tap to choose what happens with software and games. Okay. So I'm going to run it. That took me to the other part of Windows 7, which is the the other part of Windows 8, which is basically Windows 7 without the start button. So install the guest editions. So it's interesting. I guess whenever you install anything, you're going to come back here. I don't know. It's kind of jarring because, damn it, it's kind of jarring to go from the Metro interface just directly to the desktop. I would imagine if I was a new user, that'd be kind of weird. And now I'm not really sure how to get back. Well, that's it for Metro. I really don't know how to get back. I don't have my start anything. I'm feeling kind of stupid now. Why did I install those guest editions? Alright. I'm going to pause this so I don't eat up all my time trying to figure out how to get back, and be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. And you can see I've got the screen resolution fixed now. And there was something that I forgot about. And that is when you're on the desktop, or when you need to move around Windows 8 at all, you've got to use the Windows key on your keyboard. Pretty much comes on every single keyboard ever made, and it just brings you back to the Metro interface. If I press it again, it bounces me here. So it's kind of like the in-between thing, or the, I don't know, the button that switches you between the two different interfaces. If I was on a Microsoft tablet, that would have been a lot more obvious because they come with a dedicated button at the bottom, kind of like the home button on an iPhone. So that would have been the first thing I tried. I'd just forgotten that you actually, when you're on the PC, you have to use the Windows key on your keyboard. So I'm back on Metro, and you can see I've been playing with a few of these apps here, and they're pretty neat. So here's a finance app. We can open that up, and you get a pretty cool interface. It looks nice, and it's another horizontally scrolling interface, which again, it takes some getting used to. Like when I first came into this, I was kind of looking at it, and I mean, I thought that was all I could see. I was like, hey, it's being cut off. But no, you scroll horizontally, and again, on a tablet, that would have been perfectly sensible because you swipe all the time on a tablet. But on a desktop, it's just kind of weird to be using your I'm using my scroll wheel right now. I guess I could grab onto the bar as well. It's just kind of strange to be doing that. But let's go back to Metro. You've got Xbox Live Games and Xbox Companion. I really have no idea what that's for. I mean, clearly I'm not on an Xbox, so I don't know if that's just their new branding effort for like all the games, Xbox or PC. It was kind of confusing to have a bunch of Xbox stuff on my desktop. The weather's pretty cool. The big thing here, though, is it takes up a ton of screen real estate. I mean, this is a full screen application, and just these boxes alone are like just about 2 inches tall, I'd say, on a 27-inch monitor. It looks nice. I don't know, from a productivity standpoint, if you really want, I mean, I would much rather prefer to have like weather open up in one window, have my finance open in another, and I can just kind of flip between the two. Maybe it's just something I'll have to get used to. Okay, so I'm actually reshooting this part. I was going through Internet Explorer, but something in it is causing my screen recording program to just wig out and start flashing. So I'm reshooting it, and hopefully that doesn't happen. Sorry if it does, but let's open up Internet Explorer. And that brings you to Bing, and you can obviously search for something. And I saw a URL bar down here, but I clicked and now it's gone. So if you right click, that brings it back. You've got your URL bar at the bottom and then tabs up top. So I guess I could create a new tab, and that brings me to this page, which is like kind of a central bookmark page. So I could go to Google, and then if I right click again, you can see there's my tabs. It's probably causing flickering right now, but it's a very, again, tablet-centric browsing experience. It's pretty cool because it takes up the entire screen, and you know, there's no clutter from any of the URL bars or your tabs or anything. So that's awesome from a mobile computing standpoint, but it's actually kind of cumbersome when on a PC. You can use Control-T to create a new tab, and then after a delay, you get taken to this page. So it's very kind of jarring and cumbersome on a computer. But what's even stranger, though, is something I noticed while I was working in the desktop earlier. If we click over here, there's another Internet Explorer. If we open that one up, here's the traditional one that we all know and love, just sitting in the desktop. So there's actually two: the Metro version and then the desktop version. And that starts to make me wonder, is there anything else that has like duplicated functionality across these? For a second I thought Windows Explorer, maybe that's like a Metroized interface, and then there's a duplicated functionality on like the desktop side. But if you click this, you just get taken to the desktop. So it's kind of weird. I have no idea why the desktop Internet Explorer is there. It's almost like they know that people aren't going to want to use the Metro version on a PC. It's just so cumbersome to use. Um, but so that's kind of the browsing experience on Windows 8. And I wish I could show you more, but I'm afraid that that flickering is going to screw up the video again. So um, that's going to kind of wrap up this Windows 8 overview. I'm going to wrap up this video with my impressions and just a conclusion from this consumer preview of Windows 8. Overall, everything worked. It was operational. I didn't run into any bugs, and everything made sense basically. I did get confused on how to get back or how to switch between the interfaces, as it's never explained that you use the Windows key. So hopefully by the time they release, they'll clarify that a little bit for us PC users, or for people who aren't going to be using this on a tablet with a dedicated Windows button. But overall, it made sense and it worked. As from a usability perspective and from a productivity perspective, I'm really not too hot on Metro. And the reason is simple. This is a tablet interface. This is a touch-based interface, which I think works fantastically, or will work fantastically on tablets and phones. Not so much on a desktop. I mean, on a desktop, I've got a very tactile control with the mouse. I don't need these gigantic tiles. I don't need gigantic full-screen interfaces like this. It's just wholly unnecessary, and it feels forced and kind of shoehorned, in a sense that, like, it's like they made Metro and they just decided, well, it's just going to go everywhere, even if it doesn't maybe make sense for the desktop. And what I think is the most damning evidence of this is the inclusion of Windows 7 in the OS. It's like at some point they had to realize that Metro could not accommodate everything that a desktop user needs to do. And I guess when they came to that conclusion, it might have been too late. So they were just like, well, just throw the desktop in there too. Throw Windows 7 in as well. So that's really all the proof that I need that Metro is a great tablet and great phone OS. It really does not belong on the desktop. So I think I'll be sticking with Windows 7. But this has been a brief overview of Windows 8.